Sonali, you need to send me a request to join. Okay. So we just Sonali is just coming live. I think within 2 seconds we'll be there. So we're waiting for Sonali to join. Yeah, there she is. Hi, Sonali.
Hello. Hello, Nidhi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for
Okay,
inviting.
so I'll first introduce Dr. Sonali. So Dr. Sonali is an ophthalmologist, and today she's just joined us for this session, and she's going to give wonderful insights into all of your questions. And I have some questions, and all of you have sent so many questions. We'll try and answer everyone's questions today.
Yes.
Okay, so Sonali, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, you're clear. Am I
So
audible?
everyone, if you can hear both of us clearly, just wave or send a thumbs up so we can understand that
It's a problem like this?
it's okay. You're fine. Right. So why this session today? Because in the lockdown, all children's screen time has increased drastically. So
Yes.
even parents who were doing without screens at all, even in their houses, there is screen now. So everyone was kind of worried. I was getting a lot of queries, what to do, what about their eyes, what about, their eyesight and everything. So I decided why not have a session with an expert and you can give your expert views on these things. So shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the first question is the very basic one. I think 6, 7 people asked me is what are the common eye problems in children?
Okay. Like common eye problems that we encounter with children are mostly it's refractive error one. Refractive error could be, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me? Refractive error could be myopia, that is a minus number, short sightedness, or hypermetropia, or it can be a cylindrical number. So, refractive error is one common problem. Second, there is dryness in children because of many factors. Third, there is allergic conjunctivitis, or it is also known as VKC, is more common, and that is vernal keratoconjunctivitis is more common in children, especially boys. And then there is squint also, that is in-turning or out-turning of the eyes. And there
Yeah.
is lazy eyes. One is lazy eye amblyopia. And there is also vitamin A deficiency that we frequently
Hmm.
see. And also tear duct blockage. These are the common
Hmm.
diseases that we see in children.
Yeah, so the most common question I think that I got was about dry eyes and watery eyes. So if you could
Okay.
just explain these two.
See, dry eye, this symptom of dry eyes is mainly watering. It is the common symptom
Ah,
of dry eye is watering from the eyes. So, watering from
okay.
the eyes is a symptom which is associated with many diseases, especially dry eyes. Then in allergies, in conjunctivitis, in tear duct blockage. Mostly we see in these diseases we see tearing from the eyes. That is watering from the eyes.
Okay.
And dry eyes, if I take separately, dry eye is very common in all the age group, especially in children because of increased screen time.
Hmm.
Yes. You
Okay,
want me
so
to
this
go
is
on to
new
the
to me
discussion of?
that dry eye and watery eye are related to each other. So when you have dry eyes, you get water from your eyes, right? So
Right.
this is the
Yes.
same thing we get when we say the duct is blocked or something like that, yeah?
Ductus block is another disease. It's like ductus block
Okay.
is a disease here. But dry eyes is only there is dryness in the eyes. There's gritting sensation in the eyes, burning sensation. They feel like there's a sand in the eye. These are the symptoms of dry eyes.
Okay. So what are the common symptoms or signs that, parents should catch? How will, as parents, we know that there is a problem?
Okay. So in for children, I'll take up these diseases as I just said, and signs and symptom of these diseases would be better because this is these diseases are commonly encountered. So for refractive error, the sign and symptom that parents should notice is that the child prefers to sit in front of the TV. He prefers to move in front of the TV while watching. Second,
Hmm.
he's rubbing the child. They are rubbing their eyes quite often.
Hmm.
Okay, and they're squeezing their eyes to make the picture more clear. So squeezing, rubbing, trying to sit in front of the TV, and asking the teacher to put their table or to make them sit in front of the blackboard. These are the signs we'll see or symptoms we'll see in a refractive error patient. And in a child with say like squint, so you'll see that eyes are turned inside or eyes outside. This is a
Hmm.
sign that you will notice. And in allergic kids, you'll see they're rubbing their eyes, there's watering in the eyes. And so if you see a child with waters and rubbing, so you should get him to the ophthalmologist. And like in tear duct blockage, which is commonly seen in kids like who are born to 1 years of age, tear duct blockage we see. And in this, there's again continuous watering from the eye, persistent watering. Sometimes there's discharge also. So when there's discharge, there's redness, there's itching. Redness you see in conjunctivitis. So if you see these symptoms, you should check with an ophthalmologist.
Okay, so I think that's really, really important for parents to understand that, you need to catch those symptoms and do not ignore them. Sometimes what happens if the child is not ready to read, sorry. So the parents think that the child is not willing to read. So, they say कि attention seek कर रहा है या read पढ़ाई करने में मन नहीं लगता है. So the child might actually have a problem.
Yes,
So we
true.
need to catch those signs and understand. We should also take a feedback from the teachers whether he is able to read and write in the class
Right.
properly.
And
Right?
also, I
So
like to
those
add
are
upon
few of the things.
I also like to add upon vitamin A deficiency, which I
Yeah.
did not mention. Vitamin A deficiency in that the child will have a dry looking conjunctiva. White part of the eye will be like dry looking. Even the cornea will be lustreless. It will not have any luster. And the kid might have problem in seeing at night blindness. That the child might not tell you, but when you see him that he's clumsy in dim light,
Yeah.
or he acts differently when the light gets dark. So you should catch those signs and show him, because then ophthalmologist consultation is very important at that time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just discuss some of the factors that impact eye health. So what are those factors that we need to take care of?
First, sleep. Make your child sleep for at least 8 to 9 hours. Soundless, it should be completely sound sleep. There should be no interruption. Second, then sun rays that we frequently ignore. Make a child wear sunglasses. That is very important from an early age, because sun rays can harm your the lens of the eye. They can cause macular problem in the retina, which is macular degeneration. So sun rays, so wear a sunglasses, it will protect you from pollution as well as sun rays. Give them a proper sleep. Nutrition should be good. Nutrition consisting of, I think you will tell better on that, because
Okay. So
nutrition
nutrition
is
point
nice.
of view, basically vitamin A, as you said, is very important. Vitamin A, beta carotene, all the vitamin B complex vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin A, which are high in antioxidants. They save the eyes from free radicals, and of course, vitamin D, which comes from sunlight. So sunlight is also very important, and then zinc, selenium, and the most importantly, omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids we get from fatty fish. For those who don't eat fish, they can have it from canola oil, olive oil, from nuts and seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, are nuts. These are very, very, even ghee has omega-3 fatty acids. So you can have little bit. For kids, you can give them a lot of ghee, but for adults, little bit of ghee is important in your diet. So these are the things that you need to take care of. And for all the vitamins, there is no point that I tell you this food has this vitamin. If you're eating all your colorful fruits and vegetables, you will not have any nutritional deficiencies. So make sure
Right,
you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables.
true, right,
Yeah, and also for adults, it's important to maintain their cholesterol levels.
right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll
So
have
we'll
plasmas also.
Yeah.
They
So,
can have.
what are the precautions that we all should take? In a normal day-to-day life, not considering the lockdown. Otherwise, when kids go down to play, they're going for swimming or they're playing with sand. So sometimes the
Right.
injury happens, and we as parents, we don't know what to do, and it takes time to go to a hospital. So are there any first aid things that are very safe that we can do at home, or are there any
Yeah.
precautions that we should take as parents?
Okay. Firstly, if if this child is encountered with an injury or there's some dust or some stone, some glass particles entered the eye, don't rub the eyes. First thing,
Okay.
because first and foremost, rubbing the eyes will cause some tears, some injuries to the cornea, the vital organ of the eye, and that will be very painful. So don't rubbing is avoid should be avoided. Wash the eyes with water, and mother parent could take a earbud and just clean the lower eye. You just lift the lower eye, just raise it down and the upper eyelid up, and just swipe it with wet cotton. So that is the first thing that you can give. And if there's some bleeding from any part of the eyelid, just press it with the cotton for some time, 5 to 8 seconds, and the bleeding will stop. These are the common the first aid that you can do at home.
ऑल राइट. तो
And
ऑल्सो
also,
एक बहुत ही कॉमन चीज है, हमारा वी हैव अ प्री कंसीव नोशन कि अगर पेरेंट्स को चश्मा लगा हुआ है या एक पेरेंट को लगा हुआ है या घर में सबको लगा हुआ है तो बच्चे को लगेगा ही लगेगा. So, this is what even I used to believe, and that's why I've always been feeding my child a lot of fruits and vegetables from the beginning. But even then, I once took him for eye test, and they said that not now, but maybe later, but he'll have to put specs. So,
yeah.
is genetics such an important factor?
It is very important. In fact, we counsel every myopia person, every minus number husband and wife should be counseled that either don't get married. Two myop should not get married. Yes, yes, this they are counseled because that will cause
Okay.
the child will 90% be a myop then. So
I will just
minus.
after the session check my husband's number. I don't know because I don't have specs. He has. I have to check his number.
Okay, if the refractive error is hypermetrope, so and only one parent has a number, so it's the chances are like 30-40. But if both the parents have numbers, so the chances increases of the
Okay, so
chashma.
parents with specifically minus number, do check each other's number, and if you're going to get married to a person who has a negative number, do give it a second thought. People are going to
Yes.
kill me for this.
No, but I'm a myope. I'm a doctor. My husband is also a myope. My son has ended up becoming one.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
genetics is important.
We did not counsel each other. I did not counsel myself.
Even I didn't. I didn't even check his number.
Right.
Okay, so that is important, yeah. And also, see, genetics is one. So suppose you're taking all the precautions and there is no symptoms. So is there any disease or any condition that can happen without the symptoms being noticed? Asymptomatic.
Asymptomatic are many. Like, firstly, I'll talk about the first very common that we see is lazy eye, amblyopia, if you've heard of it. That is a lazy eye. In this, the child, the one eye is weak, the other eye is functioning for the weaker eye. So the kid will not notice any vision problem because the one eye is functioning for the left one as well. But if the right is good, the right will take care of the left one. So he doesn't notice
Hmm.
any vision problem unless, and nobody else also notice because his vision is good because one eye is
Hmm.
taking care of the, so that can go unnoticed. For that, parents should check each eye separately, close one eye, and ask the child to read the right. Not read, or you can just make him watch. Can you see that watch on clock on the wall, and what is the time? So do it with the left and do it with the right. If he sees, or
Right.
make him read small letters, so he's good. He might not have
So
amblyopia.
I think another super tip for parents, sometimes the children are asymptomatic and you don't know if they have a condition. So what you can do every 6 months, maybe you can ask them to read from one eye at a time and then the other. So if they are not able to read, you can understand if they have a lazy eye condition.
Right.
Yeah.
Because lazy eye is very
Okay.
important to be diagnosed at an early age because it can be corrected only till 8 years of the age. The child is till 8 years.
Oh,
After 8 years, if
okay.
you notice this, the vision will be less forever.
Hmm.
Maximum we can take it up to 11 years, but 8 is what we think is the last age to correct amblyopia.
Mm-hmm. So how early can these problems occur? What about infants? What about babies?
See, eye diseases can happen. They can occur through, they can happen from birth itself. There are many diseases which
Okay.
happen from birth itself. Yes, like many tumors, retinoblastoma, congenital cataract, tear duct blockage. They can happen from the time of birth. But these are those scary diseases. We can talk about the which are more common here. Is like nasal duct, tear duct blockage that you can see in 1 year of age. So
Yes.
they can happen from the early
So
age.
that's why we do this massage here for the
Yes, there's a
infant.
massage given here, to open the duct with the pressure.
Okay. So this is again something which is important to be noticed. So how early we should take our kids for an examination?
3 years is the good time to take your kids, because we have a chart for kids, like to recognize refractive error, which is known as a Lee chart, in which we show the shapes of house and apples, these things, easy recognizable shapes are shown to the kid, and then he's just asked to name what do you see here. So he can say it's a house, it's an apple, like that. We record the refractive number of the kid, so it comes out to be very accurate, and they can tell. So 3 years is good
Okay,
time
so
to take your kid to an
we have a
ophthalmologist.
few questions here. Let's take those and then I'll continue with other questions. So Devina is asking, is it possible if the child wears spectacles, can it be removed later?
Yes, number can be removed later, but first we have to find what number it is. If it is a minus number, it has to be, the numbers have to be stable before you undergo a surgery. So that stability in the power comes by the time the kid is grown up into an adult, like 21 years or 22 years of age. So the number goes after the surgery, but it has to be a stable
Okay.
number for at least 1 to 2 years.
No, I think what she means is sometimes doctor says that, put the specs now and we can remove it later. So
No,
is
not
that possible? Is it really reversible?
No. Spectacles will, the power of your eyes will not go without the surgery for a myo. But for a kid who
Okay.
develops a plus number in childhood, very mild number, 1 or 2 number when he's born, like, at 1 to 3 years of age, if we diagnosed it. So that plus one number can go till the child is 7 or 8 years of age, because the eyeball is growing in size. So that number will also go. The plus number can go if it is not any minus or if it's not any cylindrical number. That will also very
Okay.
less plus. Rest other
So
numbers will not.
we have another question here. He says, I wear glasses. My wife got her spectacles removed via surgery 6 years ago. When my son was born, I used to wear and she didn't. How likely my son will get glasses?
So
And
that
he
will,
has a minus number, he said earlier.
so he has a minus number. Wife also had a minus number, but she got LASIK surgery done.
Yes.
Right? There are 80 to 90% chances the kid can also, the offspring will also get.
He
So
will
get
get.
him checked. Get him checked.
So,
There
so
are
how
always
early they can get his vision checked?
as soon as he is 3 years of age.
3 years. Okay. Right. So it is now clear that as soon as your child turns 3 and he can, maybe because when he's 3, he can recognize those shapes and numbers. Is that the
Right.
reason we get them checked?
Yes, that
Okay.
is the reason, yes.
Okay. Right.
Because
So, and how often we should get them checked? Some children have symptoms, some children don't have symptoms. So in both the conditions, how often should we take them to an ophthalmologist and get them checked?
if he's diagnosed at the first time the child has a disease, he's diagnosed with certain problem in the eye, then take him yearly. That depends on what disease has been found out and what the doctor is prescribing. But a child who doesn't have any diseases, whose eye had come out to be a normal checkup in the first go, that kid can be taken after every 2-3 years. No any
Okay.
hard and fast rule. Like take at 5 years of age, then 10, 15, and then when he's late teenagers, 18, 19, that like that you can do. There's no hard and fast rule
Nice.
for that. But every 5 years you can do for a normal vision child.
Normal checkup. Okay. So thank you everyone who are sending their thumbs up and likes. So thank you so much. And I don't. Okay, so we'll move to the next question. This was my observation, and some people also asked me that some people just go to a normal optometrist who they trust, and they just go there, get the eye test done, and if he says you need specs, they put it. So is that a right practice? What's your view on this?
No, Aussie, going to an optometrist just to check your number, just to get your number rechecked, or you already have been diagnosed with the
Mm-hmm.
refractive error, and you've gone to visited an ophthalmologist first, and he's given you a number. So that number you can, if the glass is broken, you can go to an optometrist and get it made again. Or or every year you can just go to an optometrist and get your number changed if it's only a
Mm-hmm.
problem with the number. But
Right.
just keeping an ophthalmologist altogether, because the optometrist will not see your structures of the eye. He'll not go inside, not see the parts of the eye. He can only see the refractive number. So you might miss upon many other diseases that are in the eye, and because of which you've got the number. So first, go to an ophthalmologist. Be sure there's no
Hmm.
diseases in the eye, and then if you're sure, then just to get your number checked, you keep going to it once in a
Okay.
while.
I think your network is little.
Breaking. It's fine now.
Okay, never mind. I think we move on.
Hello?
Yeah.
Is it fine now?
Yes, better. Okay. So another question. Are there any home remedies? Some people
No
put
home
rose water,
remedies.
tulsi water.
I don't prefer that. Please don't put anything in
No.
the eye without asking, without consulting. Especially rose water, orange juice, and all that.
Hmm. So parents, we are not against traditional practices, but you should always ask an expert before you put something in the eyes of your kids or yourself also. So, but we are not against traditional practices. If you trust those, you can do those. But ideally, you should always consult an expert.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. So, Sonali, what happens? This is a general thing that parents ask that, children are scared of going to a clinic or going to a doctor. So, do you also encounter those experiences when kids come to you? How does your process of getting the eyes checked look like?
Okay. So kids they trouble a lot when their checkup is done.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The parents have to counsel them because it's very difficult to check a child, and uh, but the process is very easy. It's not that it's gonna. Don't be hesitant in coming to a doctor thinking the child will cause a lot of trouble. Just explain it to them, because all we need to do is make them see in one of the lamps, and that's very easy. Ask them read a vision chart, which they can do if they're above 3 years of age.
Yeah.
And third, if it's a child, the most important thing is to dilate their eyes and check the number
Hmm.
then. So that process will take almost an hour, dilatation of the
Okay.
eye, and then yes. So you should be prepared for 1 hour. You have to visit. You have to spend there.
So parents, to prepare your children, I think problem is not here. Problem is not just before the examination. What we do, from the beginning, whenever they are watching TV, we scare them. कि TV देखोगे तो डॉक्टर के पास जाना पड़ेगा and injection लगेगा. So it gets embedded in their mind कि doctor means injection and hence they are scared.
Yes.
So first of all, we should not do that. We should not scare them. Secondly, if they are booked for a checkup or an appointment, I think a week before you should start talking to them about it. And you can pretend play, wherein you make them the eye doctor and see what they do with you, because that will make you understand what they think about an eye examination. So then that is the time for you to correct it. Also, then you can become the eye doctor and tell your child, no, this is not the way eye doctor does, but this is how he will do it, and make it a playful way to make them. It's called simulation also. So you do the pretend play with your children, make it a fun activity, then they're less likely to get scared of the doctors.
Right.
So,
Very
and you
nice
can
way.
also tell them stories about it.
Very nice method, Nidhi. Pretend play is
Okay,
nice also.
so so kids are not very difficult to. What happened? Kids are really not that difficult to convince. They do get convinced. If we explain to them in a fun way, they do understand. Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
another question I have is about nightmares. So do nightmares also affect our eye health?
No, they don't. They can just
I
affect
think the
your
question
sleep.
is because we have those rapid eye movements during the
No,
nightmares.
no, but
So
that
is
will
it
not.
related?
No, 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 no. It will not. It will just disturb the sleep. You might not have a sound sleep. That's all.
It's not related, right?
No, no, not at all.
Okay. So
Yes.
another question I have here is how to have a sound sleep. Just because. Okay.
I think you have to make them. I can answer that because I have two kids, raising two kids. So make them, uh, do a lot of exercises, make them worked out in the entire day. So, and don't make them. I don't give him a rest in the afternoon. Probably he's big, like 5 years, and he's so tired by 9 o'clock that he sleeps till morning 7:30 without even getting up once. Probably he's so
Hmm.
tired. So the concept is make him
Yeah.
overworked.
Yeah, so activity is important. And of
Yes,
course,
playing
nutrition plays
outside.
a big role in your sleep. So for adults also, for adults basically, you should eat a lighter meal at dinner and you should sleep after 2 hours at least of having your meal. Then you're more likely to have sound sleep. Also, meditation helps. This is for adults, not for kids. Kids will not do meditation. But yeah, if they're playing a lot, if they have a lot of activities to do, they are more likely to sleep better. Also,
Right.
there should be no disturbance in the. He says, "How about the grown-ups?" Yeah, I'm telling. So, so if there's no disturbance in the room when you sleep, that also adds a lot to the quality of your sleep. So the environment should be calming, it should be serene, and there should be no distractions. Even that, small blue light disturbs a lot. So make sure you do not have any lights and no sounds or no distractions. Especially for kids, you should not have his toys around. He should not sleep with toys on the bed. So these are a few things. For adults, of course, you can do meditation. You can try aromatherapy if you like that, and eat healthy.
Right.
Yeah. So Sonali, we'll wind up the session, but before that, can you share some exercises for eyes to keep our eyes healthy? I'll also do with you.
Okay. For kids, we'll talk about. For kids, you can what? Or everybody, okay. Firstly, blinking frequently. You should blink consciously blink your eyes frequently. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Frequent blinking is first thing. You just blink them frequently. Yes. Second, tight closure of the eyes. Tightly close the eye. That will also be helpful. That will cause release of
Okay.
natural tears. That is one way. Especially when you're working from the laptop or screen, you feel dryness. So to squeeze them a little bit.
Okay.
And third is you can just move them right, left, up and down, right, left,
Mm-hmm.
up and down. Then fourth, you can just move them clockwise and anti-clockwise. Rotate them.
Okay.
Yes, clock and
Am I,
anti-clockwise.
am I doing it right?
Not right, you're not going down, but yes, when you're away
Okay.
from the screen, you can
Okay.
do
I'll,
that, no
I'll
problem.
practice. Okay.
Yes, clockwise and anti-clockwise. And sixth,
Uh-huh.
you can just take a pencil. This is convergence exercises. If you have a headache while reading, so convergence is poor, your muscle is weak. So this will strengthen the muscle. Take a pen or any
Mm-hmm.
pencil, and bring it for closer to your face. Like keep bringing closer to your face. And
Okay.
wherever you see double, you stop it like this, and then you count till 10 and keep looking at that pencil, and then again take it
Mm-hmm.
back, then again get
Okay.
it slowly close to your face, and again stop and count till 10. This you can do like for at least 5 to 10 minutes in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and 5 10 minutes in the evening. If you have frequent headaches while reading, this will help. This will increase the muscle tone.
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
one.
So those were, I think, fun exercises to do. And we have one more question here. Where did it go? That I think it was about watching videos in the dark at night before sleep.
Hmm. It's very harmful because it is called, so any mobile screens, laptops, they emit blue rays. So blue rays are very harmful for the eye. They, your eyes, and especially at night, in the dark, if you're seeing, you're straining the eye more. So and so there'll be more dryness. If you have a number, your power might increase. So
Mm-hmm.
don't overstress the eye. If you want to see at night, at least switch off a lamp, bedside lamp. That will cause less stress on your eyes.
Hmm.
So don't make
And
it a
that will also
don't make it.
affect your sleep. You will not get a sound
Yes,
sleep. So, yeah. So if you
you
want
keep
to sleep
thinking.
sound, you should be away from gadgets at least 30 to 1 hour before you're trying to sleep. So switching off the gadgets is also very important if you want a really sound sleep. So that
Right.
helps. And also when kids are watching TV, you can reduce the contrast, you can reduce the brightness, and make sure that they are sitting away from the TV. Also, 2 hours of screen time in a day, quality screen time, will not do much harm to the eyes, as we think that TV is the only thing that is affecting their eyes. It's not. As Dr. Sonali discussed, there are a lot of factors which affect the eye health. So make
Yes.
sure that kids are watching TV not continuously for 2 hours, but in batches. You can make them watch for 30 minutes, and then they can blink their eyes and do these fun exercise, and probably after a gap of some time, they can watch again. So we do
And one more
understand that
thing.
screen time has increased. Yeah,
Yes. At least don't make them watch mobiles more, because any near work will
of
make
course.
them,
Hmm.
develop a myopia. So you can, distance watching is still benefit. It's better than
Yeah,
mobiles.
TV is any day
Keep it.
better than mobile.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Near work should be
So,
avoided.
okay. So, thank you so much, Dr. Sonali, for joining. I think you really patiently answered all the questions. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming here.
Thank you for
And
calling.
we had a
Bye
pleasure
bye.
having you here.
Same
Thank you
here.
so much. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone who joined us during the session. Thank you for asking questions. I hope yeah, thank you. Thank you.